think you did.
Yeah, maybe just one, but we got a couple. You know?
I'd like to call the Space Needs Committee meeting to order. I'm Kevin Fred Demick. I'll be your committee chair, be running the meeting today. If we could have roll call, please.
Mr. Demick,
Here.
Mr. Healy,
Here.
Mr. Sear, Mr. Fanton,
Here.
Mrs. Hanchett,
Here.
Mr. Havey,
Here.
Mrs. Root,
Here.
and Mr. Harris.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Look for approval of minutes for April 17th.
Root will make the motion.
Havey will second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Old business. Any old business? Jan?
Can you give us an update on what's happening with the church property and Peter Degnan's office as far as getting that money spent in it before we can't use it?
I can give you a brief. I was at the last Hunt engineering meeting. We were in the middle of dealing with SHPO on the parsonage building, and I think that's all coming together. They had some requests like the siding couldn't be replaced, so we're going to cover it, flooring, things like that. So they're getting in line. They figure they should start construction by the end of summer, and I think we're still on the time frame for March. Everybody seemed good with that. You know, we've asked them a couple different times at those meetings. So I don't know, Krista, you got anything to add, or Terry?
I think we have the official extension notification from ILS on those funds, but Terry's got to go back and help the conflict defender on a ton of budget adjustments because, number one, we never really put the ILS grant agreement in conflict defender yet because it was a new office, and we're going to have to move some around to a capital account too. So just a lot of budget transfers, but they did extend that grant.
And we're looking at a March timeframe, right? That they want
March
to push it?
31st, end of the fiscal year,
Right.
we have to spend it by.
Right. So we're going to keep on them to get this thing moving and get it out for bid it out and move ahead. We're very aware of that.
So the timeline then is after all these SHPO are taken care of, then you've got to put out for, bids to do the work?
Right. You got to design. Once SHPO tells you what they're concerned with and you got to address that, then that affects the design of what we're going to do. So once they get that and SHPO writes it off, which they're not real quick about, but, and they felt very comfortable that by the end of July, they would have that probably set.
But then you still have to get the bids.
Right.
And then award the bid,
Right.
and then you've got the construction,
Right. Which they figure will be done by March
okay?
timeframe. We're hoping.
I
And we'll
hope,
keep on it.
I know I've said this before, but I hope we really stay on top of this because I think it would be an absolute shame if we have to give any of that money back to the state and not complete this in time.
Right, I agree. So, and as far as the space needs study, we'll just throw this in old business. We're supposed to be having a meeting next week with Hunt. Once that's done and we get a chance to look over, we'll go over it, especially as a committee. I'm in hopes that in the future, after that some of these buildings like the church and things like that, that'll be on that space needs study that everybody's been asking about, that we can go look at it, take what they're talking about, look at it and say, we're going to need to make a decision of what we're going to do with buildings like that. I mean, we made a huge building difference with the community center in Wellsville. I mean, that's a step up, and that's the type of things we're going to have to step up and do and get out of money pits like the building they were in,
But that's not going to cure our space need issues because that just replaces the facility we were running.
Right, but it's all part of it. And
Right.
once we do the space needs, with employment and training especially, that's on everybody's mind. So hopefully they have some input on that, of what we may want to do. We may have to go to the third floor and look and really decide what we're going to do with that. But that'll be a discussion once we get this space needs thing done. So that'll be
So-
coming up.
Mr. Chair, will that space needs be coming to this committee for report, or is this committee going to be involved in that?
I would say they would. I'd like to make sure they are. I'm going to set in on the meeting with Hunt Engineers when they present it and go over it with some admin people. And after that, if it's approvable, we'll move forward with it. We'll have to have some workshops just like we're doing with EMS or anything else, so.
That's kind of what I was envisioning, is that you would hold some work sessions with this particular subcommittee to go over some of those recommendations and see what we want to do.
Right. Right. We won't get it all done in our 15-minute time frame, that's for sure. Anybody else got any other old business? Any new business? Go to the order? Can I get a motion for adjournment? Oh,
If anybody
ma'am.
gets an opportunity toward the new community services building, we got to steal, I guess you could say. It's a wonderful building. It's huge. You could get lost in it. And I know they're all very anxious to get moved over there. So if you get an opportunity to take a tour of it, do it. Because I thank you, everybody who was involved in making that happen.
anyone else? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Hanchett seconds.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.